Hey everyone, today I'll be talking to you about molecular biology, which is an understated field of science. So what is molecular biology? It is the study of molecular processes such as replication, transcription, and translation of cells and DNA, and the study of cell function. Two interesting articles on this subject would be Voici l'animal le plus humain jamais créé and Maladie d'Alzheimer, bientôt un nouveau vaccin, both from Futura Science. Voici l'animal le plus humain jamais créé was written by Céline Deluzarche, a journalist at Futura Science, and the main focus of this article is the replication of human cells inside of an animal's body, which is done with enzymes by aligning the growth of human cells and animal cells at the fetal state. So they take human cells and animal cells at their most basic state and allow them both to grow up at the same time in the same environment. By doing so, they create animal-human chimeras, which are animal-human hybrids, and these chimeras usually survive for about a week with only 0.01% to 0.001% of human cells consisting their bodies, after which their bodies reject the human cells and they die. But the University of Buffalo in New York managed to create a chimera that lived on for 17 days with 4% of human cells consisting its body. It should be noted that the experiment took end not because the animal's health was declining, but for ethical purposes. What would be the usage of such hybrids? Well, human cells fabricated in a laboratory don't react the same way as human cells in a living organism. And by creating such hybrids, we can study how diseases act on human cells without endangering a living person. And we also get a more concrete and realistic response from the cells as they are in a living organism. Cells that are replicated in an animal could be used to replace damaged tissue on a person. Questions after reading this article. You might ask yourself three critical thinking questions. The first one would be, who is the best person to consult after reading this article? It would be an expert in the domain, such as a biology professor that could give you more insight as to how human cells can replicate inside of an animal's body. What is another perspective or point of view? There is an ethical perspective that should be looked upon, as they are working with living animals that can feel pain and should be treated in a humane way whilst allowing the experiment to continue. And what are the strengths and weaknesses of the article? The article provides the information in a concise way directly to the reader, which is good, but it doesn't allow a full comprehension of the subject. Now the second article, Maladie d'Alzheimer, bientôt un nouveau vaccin, written by Julie Kern, a scientific redactor, also from Futura Science. The main focus of this article is to describe an innovative vaccine for Alzheimer's disease. Which is a disease that should be looked upon, as the World Alzheimer Report predicts that by 2050, 150 million people will be living with Alzheimer's disease. Unlike other vaccines, it immunizes the patient against the amyloid plaques and tau proteins, both responsible for the disease, in one injection. The amyloid plaques, showed in orange on the right image, are aggregates of proteins, so big mass of proteins that interfere with the connection between the neurons. So they basically cause traffic on the neurons pathway. And tau proteins reside in the neurons themselves. It is their entanglement that destabilizes the structure of the neurons and causes them to die. The vaccine itself induces a higher production of antibodies specific to tau proteins and amyloid plaques, and this rise in concentration of antibodies reduces the number of amyloid plaques and diseased neurons, therefore gradually rendering the brain healthy. What about dementia? Alzheimer's is a specific brain disease, but it accounts for 60 to 80% of dementia cases. So the study done on mouses for the vaccine showed that there was no improvements in their cognitive behavior. This could be due to the mouse's natural aggressive behavior, or it shows that there is still work to be done on the vaccine. Questions after reading this article. Again, you might ask yourself three critical thinking questions. The first one would be, who benefits from this article? Well, people that have been diagnosed with Alzheimer's and their families, as they can get information on a possible vaccine. Where can we get more information? On the net, studies on Alzheimer's disease are getting more and more frequent and appear more and more on the net. And when will the information benefit our society? It is already benefiting it, but it'll be even more good when the vaccine will be ready to be sold, as people will be able to get information on how the vaccine works. To conclude, molecular biology is a domain that will keep getting more and more relevant, and its usefulness will keep getting bigger and bigger. So it is a domain that should be looked upon. And we could end on a quote from Carl Sagan, a renowned biologist and astrophysicist, that said, "Somewhere something incredible is waiting to be known." And I think that applies to microbiology. So thanks for listening, and if you have any questions, let me know.